Hi, my name is Helen Epega, also known as the Venus Bushfires, and I'm in the Royal Albert Hall in the archives. And today we're going to be looking at some of my favourite items in the collection. Something that's really caught my eye is Africa Rising. And it's caught my eye because it's kind of brought a feeling inside of grounding. For me personally, 2008 was a time when a lot was happening. I was visiting Nigeria a lot more. My family is from the ancient kingdom of Benin. And I was just going back to Nigeria a lot and listening to stories from my grandmother, both my grandmothers, and reconnecting with the land, the story, the culture, the music. And it was a time when I started thinking I really wanted to share African stories on a global stage. And that's exactly what this is. It was such an amazing, powerful time. And at that time, I remember hearing this a lot, Africa Rising, Africa Rising. And I remember thinking, hasn't it risen? But I understand the sentiment, and it was the vibe of the time, and people were really, really hopeful. And I know that a lot of people were kind of reconnecting with African culture a lot. Trevor Nelson was presenting, and there's music from the band as well. And Two-Face Adibia, Seal was there. And fashion as well, not just music, it was fashion as well. You have Deola Sego and Yusundo. You have Asha, Oswald Boateng, and also Christina Aguilera. And for me at the time, I remember thinking, it feels like African culture really wants to take a center stage, wants to lead, and African stories don't have to follow. It can be inspiring, just as my grandmother's stories, my mother's stories have inspired me. And just how I'm hoping that Song Queen of Pidgin Opera, which is the world's first Pidgin English opera, after sort of events such as these, and after seeing Parsifal and Wagner, and learning about how music can change lives, I really wanted to inspire in a similar way. So I think this event was really, really special at the time, and even since, because it opened so many doors, and it must have been just such a colourful, magnificent time where you're seeing all these artists and performers on stage speaking and sharing these dynamic, beautiful stories and being themselves. Nearly 20 years since this event, and Africa's certainly rising. Africa's certainly risen. So another item that's caught my eye in the archives is the LSO, London Symphony Orchestra, London Symphony Chorus. And it's a beautiful blue, actually. I'm a synesthete, so I see music and sound as colours and shapes. So when I see this, it kind of resonates a tone in my mind. So yeah, I'm just looking for... I know that Kate Bush performed a number of songs here, and I just have to say that I love her. I completely love her. She's amazing. She's a great influence to me, my music. She's quite radical in that way. I think she doesn't really follow the rules. She's just like this light, this gush of hurricane, beautiful dancer, singer, musician, pianist that just transforms and transcends the space that she's in. I just wonder how she felt sort of being supported by the orchestra and the chorus and Ron Goodwin and the audience, and everybody must have just completely been in awe with her. And also La Bicifre here, amazing. Aren't these photographs just so magical? Everybody looks perfect. Perfect, kind of dreamy, similar to the music. I mean, come on. How stunning is she there? So there's a bit here about the London Symphony Orchestra. The idea of the London Symphony Orchestra was conceived in 1903 in a railway carriage between Manchester and London. Wow, that must have been a really, really special railway carriage. Easily 100 people here performing, singing. Easily. What a sound. Wow. So this is a programme from the Royal Albert Hall again, a special Sunday concert. And I understand that they I could be wrong, but they ran for about 100 years or so. So they were a regular occurrence in the hall. And this is a Wagner concert, Astral, with the London Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Sir Thomas Beecham. So it was a special show, and this was on October the 9th, 1927. And yep, here there's a picture of Sir Thomas Beecham. I wonder if after you've done so much conducting, if you do kind of get shy, get nervous, or if there's any part of the show that makes your heart beat faster. I think every time I perform, well, up until last year, I would literally feel like my heart was going to jump out of my chest. And it doesn't matter how many rehearsals you do, it's almost like a first date when you're about to do a show. And I wonder if you've done 100 of similar performances, your heart stops wanting to beat out of your chest. So this is Good Friday Music by Wagner. Wagner is a big part of why I started composing operas, particularly Parsifal, because I was at a performance of Parsifal. I think it was roughly it was after 2010, and I'd seen this performance, and I was wearing the African gele, kind of a head tie, which is shiny fabric, and also wearing very colourful African attire as well. And in the interval, I went to the bar, and I remember a lot of people saying how fantastic it was for me to be there. And I did feel a little bit like a novelty. And it made me think, so what would happen if sort of this was a market scene, and it was just lots of different Nigerian dialects and languages. And it made me think of Pidgin. And I just thought, what if Pidgin was in this space? And what if this whole situation was pigeoned up? And as I was watching the rest of Parsifal, I kept thinking, I have many stories that my mother had told me, African stories that my grandmother had shared with me. And I just thought, that sounds perfect for an opera. And then I also learnt afterwards that Wagner would write the libretto as well as the music. So I thought, you know what, I'll give that a go as well. And those are the seeds of Song Queen of Pidgin Opera. But what I take away from Wagner's work is the light in the art, and that all art has the ability to inspire as it inspires me, and all art has the power in what we choose to take away from the art. Thanks for watching In the Archive with me, Helen Epega, at the Royal Albert Hall.